I call the meeting to order at 4:36 p.m. on Monday. On Tuesday, January 11th at 2022. This meeting is being recorded and streamed. I don't think it's being streamed live on Facebook right now, but it's available on demand at fatv.org. Please keep that in mind when making any comments. Be aware of how your screen may appear and that our meetings are open to the public. The Fitchburg Cultural Council is a nonprofit volunteer body that is part of the City of Fitchburg's government and the state entity, the Mass Cultural Council. The PR subcommittee specifically focuses on the council's public relations. This is a non-voting subcommittee. Any voting decisions are brought to the large council, which meets monthly every third Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. I'd like to start this meeting with welcoming Samuel to the Fitchburg Cultural Council now that he's an official member.
Congratulations.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think he's muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you for welcoming me, and I'm so glad to be part of the Fitchburg Council, Cultural Council. This is for me a joy to be part of you guys.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I know that when you and I talked, you had a lot of thoughts about public relations, so I'm very excited that you are joining our PR meeting because we could probably use your help.
Yeah. We're happy to have you, Samuel. And just so you know, I take the minutes, the records for the meeting. So when you see me looking to the side, it's not me being disinterested. I'm trying to see what I type. So
no problem. Thank you.
I want to make that clear.
That's good.
I'm fully engaged, but it's just okay.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Shara Osgood has also officially joined our council, so we're very excited. The first thing on our agenda is FY22 grant announcements. Now they have not been confirmed yet, but I was wondering if Matt or someone else would be interested in putting together the press release and also the social media posts announcing the grants that we will be funding, so that once we know officially what those are, you can just kind of plug them in and paste, and then we can send them out.
I'll be happy to take care of the press release. So if you just let me know when the official word has come down, I can start building the bones of the press release now. But
fantastic. Yeah, we'll know officially after we vote on finances.
Okay, nice.
So at the next large council meeting, we will confirm that, and then we'll have we'll know which grants are officially being funded.
Okay. And so our next full meeting is when?
I think it's, so the usual or like the planned meeting is supposed to be next Tuesday, January 18th. But there is possibility that it might be pushed. But I don't want to say anything because
okay.
I don't know officially. I'm sure Tamar will send us all an email to let us know, and for members of the public, you keep an eye out for our posted agenda on the City of Fitchburg's website, which the agenda will be posted 2 business days in advance.
Okay. I'll try to have something ready before our next meeting.
Cool. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Appreciate it. So you'll do that for both like journal, for a newspaper, press releases, as well as like Facebook and Instagram type post.
Yeah, there would be, I guess, a condensed version, but I can do that. Yeah.
Sounds good. Do you want me to put together a graphic like I did last year, or would you be able to do that?
I'm not as graphically inclined as you are, so I would welcome your graphic design support on this. I paint with words, Audrey. You're the artist, so.
Unless does anyone else want to volunteer to create a graphic to attach to it? I can pull up what we did previously. And I just like pinned it to the top of the on the page so that people can always see which grants are funded. Mm-hmm. Also, Samuel, just so you know, while the regular council meeting is a little bit more structured, the PR subcommittee meeting, we must stick to the agenda points, but you can speak freely. It's fine. If you feel the need to, add something.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Audrey.
You're welcome. Here it is. Okay. So this is what I did last year. I don't know. I don't think it's like necessarily the prettiest, but it's informative, and I could tag every organization on there.
This is better than I could do. So
yeah,
I actually really like the fact that you have the every applicant or every grantee listed kind of as background.
Mm-hmm.
I think that works really well.
Yeah, it illustrates the far reach that we're having and the variety of things. It's good. Right, because even a lot of the names of the applications are descriptive enough that people get a sense that, it underscores, I know, which is an objective of ours anyway, that there's a lot going on in the city. So I think just by virtue of the density of it, it comes across. So would you use the FCC logo and then the Mass Cultural logo? Is that the idea?
Yeah, probably, considering how they always want programs to be credited as such.
Yeah.
So probably like, that's our old logo. So I would put the new one there instead. I know I suggested writing something for social media. I could also just do what I did here, where I just listed them and their websites and a short description and around like the date planned that it would be.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a benefit to having a formal press release that, maybe a newspaper could pick up or whatever presents the news now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Press release necessary regardless.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have any thoughts on the graphic design or this in general?
Were you talking to me?
Oh yeah, if you had any feedback.
I'm sorry?
I was just wondering if you had any feedback or suggestions.
No, for now, no.
All right. Would anyone be available or interested to do like maybe a radio appearance as well to talk about our grants? Or Like, yeah. All right, that's fine. I'll see if Tamar would want to, and or if anyone else would like to. We could also, like, you know, ask during the large council meeting.
Yeah, we could revisit that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will do graphic. Matt will do the press release. Okay, so next item is FCC TV. So our next taping will be Monday. Hold on. I apologize. I'm not as prepared as I usually am. December was a total. Yeah. So I'm just getting back to everything today.
I have January 24th on my calendar.
Yes. Okay. So on Monday, January 24th, we will be taping FCC TV. I have told the one guest that we do have confirmed is the Wachusett Meadow Sanctuary, who we funded in FY21 for their sensory days, their sensory sensitive days or whatever. And so they'll come and talk about that. I am still in the process of reaching out to other previous grantees if they would like to join that day or one of our future taping dates. And then obviously once we get the official announcements for our FY22 grants, I will also extend that invitation to them. Samuel, I heard that you might be interested in joining FCC TV.
I am. And is the date, the 25th is gonna be
24th.
The 24th, okay, the 24th.
Okay.
It's gonna be Monday, on Monday, yep. Right?
Yes.
Yep. I'll be there.
So, excellent. Yeah, so the official crew time is 5 o'clock, 5:15, right? Matt, you can't get there till like 5:15 usually, right?
Generally it's 5:15, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if you can come at 5 o'clock, I'll be there probably like as early as 4:30. But if you can do that, that'd be great. I think it might be nice to do a grant announcement PSA before we tape the episode. So that'll be good. And Sam, we have a hard out at 7 p.m. So it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be at the studio any longer than that. Would anyone like to write a PSA for the grant announcement?
I've never written one, but do we have some sample? We've done other ones, so I guess we could.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can send you what I did for the previous one.
Okay.
So just make it 1 minute long.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm not volunteering to deliver it. I'm the puppet master behind the scenes is where I feel more comfortable.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll ask Tamar if she would be interested.
Or we could get a puppet. If we could get a puppet, then
like an actual marionette. I don't have those skills. I'm not that good.
Casey and I have a dream of like giving her a Muppet co-host for the show.
That's perfect.
I mean, Casey could do it too, I suppose, right? I mean, she'll be there that night. So 1 minute long. So that's about, I don't know, about 100 words probably. I think that's sort of the math I do when writing speeches up here, about 100 words a minute.
If you want, you can make it like 50 seconds so that, allows that person to say a little bit slower if they need to. And we could always just like tag a title card at the end if it's too short.
Yeah.
It's easier when it's like shorter than it's too long.
So it'd be mainly announcing that we have awarded, well, I guess I don't know what the total number is. I would need to know that, what the total number of dollars we're awarding is. But
yeah, insert information here.
Yeah. She can hold up a piece of paper in front of her. We have awarded $1,000 in grants to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to do it.
Sounds good. Yeah, you can just put it on a Microsoft Word doc, send it to me, and I can set that up on FATV in advance.
Perfect. Okay.
Or like even like just on the day of before you get in. But yeah, probably be good to as a way to kind of like overall promote all the grants that are receiving money.
Okay.
Script. Map. Ask Taylor. All right. So this next one is kind of a big one that's not really prepared, but 2022 public relations stuff in general, events, projects, fundraising. What are things that we want to do? I know we have Fitchburg Open Studios, which is the last weekend of September. I assume we're thinking about doing a winter bazaar again.
Yes, and maybe even a spring something. I think it would be, so we have to, I mean, certainly the interest from vendors is there, but we have to think about timing and kind of where that falls in the queue with other happenings. But I would suggest that if we were going to do it, that we hold it before Mother's Day, because it seems like, if you do it right before a gift giving event, then the vendors do better.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
It was great. When I learned that was for the first time, it was a success. And
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A little stressful, but a lot of fun.
I know.
So we are actually hoping to, in my department, this is sort of an aside, just to develop a workshop series for vendors that are working at fairs that might want to take their business to the next level, their art business. So hopefully that will be something that will be coming along this late winter, early spring. But I had a thought about how we could use FATV and create some PR. And I guess this is just me posing questions at this point, but I'm not a communications person. I'm not, film and video and that is not my thing, although I'm willing to learn. But if there's capacity from Fitchburg Access to go remotely, could we spend like the next year taking some video of different grantees as they're performing or, doing their thing, the open studios, when that happens, the other events that we get engaged in, other kinds of artistic events, and maybe put together a 15-20 minute promotional piece about just arts and culture in Fitchburg and how we have so much of it, because we really do, but I think it doesn't always make its presence known. So I don't know how much capacity the FATV has to go on location. which I think we need to do at least some of.
I know that FATV, they have their staff with specific assignments already. They do have, they do run some classes for like high schoolers and I think maybe even the college, but which part of it is volunteer hours. And so that might be something that FATV would do, in which they would ask those students to cover an event. But otherwise, it's been on members to do such. And I know that I tried to tape our public input meeting this year, and I don't know, I struggled with the mics and the camera and stuff, that I wasn't able to successfully do so. So even though I do have a film background, I struggled with that.
Okay.
And now Derek.
Oh,
Sam,
right. And now we don't have Derek.
Do you happen to have much experience with cameras or TV or film?
I used to have a radio show, and but for the first time it was my country, and I used to use a camera, and I'm not a pro, but I can sometimes do something if you allow me, if you ask me, just yeah, I can. I can try anytime.
Would you like to do that?
Of course, why not?
Oh, excellent. So does that mean when we tape FCC TV, you would be interested in being being a camera operator? I
talked to Nate about it, and he offers me some training on that, and I really appreciate that. And I'm planning now my time just to see when I start doing that, but I will.
Awesome. Yeah. As being a member of the council, when we I'm not sure, I think we voted to approve to renew our membership. I don't know if that has officially gone through, but as a member of the Cultural Council, which is a organizational member of FATV, we each have access to all of their resources and trainings that they offer and all that such, as long as it's for like nonprofit reasons. So it's pretty neat.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, maybe we can mull this over a little bit. And I think there's plenty of opportunities to film artists in action and film some of the grantees if we wanted to do that and put something together. I would imagine the filming is one of the hard parts, and then the other hard part is editing all of that into something that is only 15 or 20 minutes, right?
That is hard, but that is within my capabilities. I can do that. I can do that. I mean, I've taped with my phone, and I've included videos that I've taped with my phone as clips during the show and such, but I'm not always there either. With a combination of clips that I've made or ones that I found that Joe posted or Sam posted. Speaking of FATV, Liz, did you find out what the process would be if we wanted to buy a stopwatch for Claudia to use and submitting that to the city of how we best do that?
I asked purchasing and they said I could just order it online, and then I forgot all about it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we just send you a link and you'll get that taken care of.
Yeah, I think I need to like go through like one of the city vendors. I mean, there's plenty of like WB Mason, even Amazon, we have an account with them. So it's gotta be like somebody that's like approved. So they already have a W-9, but I don't think that's a problem for a stopwatch. I think that should be easy enough to find.
Okay.
But I will run it by somebody in case there's some specific feature that people want that, you know, to make sure that we get the right one so we don't waste money getting something that isn't truly effective.
Yeah. I would assume that what would be helpful is that it clicks really well. It's very simple. The numbers are large and maybe there's a string attached. So
Okay.
Want to wear as a necklace.
Yeah.
Or not.
So we're not looking for anything fancy, just start and stop. And
Yeah.
here's the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it
Got
simple. That would be coming out of the Cultural Council budget though, right? So it would need to be approved, correct?
I'm not sure how your process is for, I know we talked about a stopwatch before.
Yeah.
So did we approve already getting a stopwatch?
No, we haven't presented it to the council to, like the full council to
Okay.
vote on it. So I think it would be like, find said stopwatch and, you know, say how much it'll cost.
Okay.
And then at the next large council meeting, we'll vote to approve that purchase.
Yeah. It may be beneficial in the long run if I don't know exactly what the Cultural Council bylaws say because I don't even know where they are. But if it might make sense to try to have an administrative budget a small administrative budget that doesn't require a council vote every time you want to buy like a $5 item.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, and I think that should be something for discussion. I don't know how often it comes up that the council needs to buy supplies that are outside of a particular event or a particular grant related something.
About the bylaws, we will I believe we should be actually voting on any changes or addendums to the bylaws at the next council meeting. I need to send you, Sam, and Shara information about the fact that you've joined the council, sending you like, you know, the bylaws and all, you know, all this information and stuff.
Great.
I've just been trying to figure out what exactly I'm supposed to send.
Sure.
Since Mass Cultural Council like changed their website, changed like how they're doing things, and yeah. Liz, you've received an invitation from the Mass Cultural Council website though to you know, access your login, right?
Yes, and I've gone in and I think Tamar just asked somebody at Mass Cultural Council to change my access so I can help her get this financial report finished.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting for that. But I can get in, I just can't see the piece that I need to see in order to, but I did manage to actually print out, and I have it here, not that you can read that, the accounts and all of our expenditures for the last couple of years. So that I can hopefully make these numbers work the way they're supposed to.
We're really appreciative of you, Liz. Sam, I will get you and Shara set up. I'll try to do it this week. But I just wanted to make sure that, like, okay, I did Liz's like a while ago. I hope that
yes, you did. Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Were there any other? Oh, do we want to do any fundraising projects this year? Because I know like now we've got potentially 3 different events that we want to host. Should those events, like, you know, I don't, fundraising's not really my thing. So like, anyone else?
I think if we do another bazaar, we'll charge a small vendor fee. And I would imagine most of that will end up going back into the marketing, but maybe some of it will be in addition, you know, that we carry over. You know, I apologize, I haven't circled back to it, but I want to get the information about how to create Friends of the Cultural Council organization so that it can do like a GoFundMe or you know, other kinds of fundraising activities where people can use their Venmo, their cash or whatever, you know, a card to donate, because I think every event opportunity could also be a fundraising opportunity. And not that we want to spend our time hounding people. I mean, I certainly appreciate not getting all kinds of fundraising asks when I'm at things, but you know, there's a balance to strike there. So it's just right now, the only way that we can fundraise is if we get cash or checks, right? Because we have to physically bring it to the city and it's got to be deposited, and you know, so there's not really an opportunity for other kind of electronic payment methods. So I'd have to go back. I'm gonna actually talk to somebody else in the city who I think was involved in maybe creating the Friends of the Friends of the Park Board. There's different, there's so many different Friends of entities. I just have to find one that was involved in the startup to understand how complicated it is. And then we could talk about, is this too complicated? Is this easy enough for us to do? You know, and decide if we want to move forward. But I really think it would be good to do something. Alternatively, we could ask another entity like the Cultural Alliance if they would be, if they would act as like a Friends of the Cultural Council for fundraising purposes. But you know, they have their own fundraising needs too, so that gets tricky.
I think that would be really helpful, especially considering how Fitchburg Open Studios asked for a small fee so that we can use that money for marketing. And right now the process is that they either email, they either like send us their application virtually or bring it to the Boulder Art Gallery. But either way, the checks are received at the Boulder Art Gallery, since Peter Capodaglia is, you know, was one of the original organizers and assists us a lot. But yeah, if it was like a streamlined process of like, go here to pay your fee and also like send in your application, I think that would be a lot easier for a lot of people.
Yeah, we could just get a Venmo account.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know that I've brought this up before, like, but if like the Cultural Council's like budget was in its own specific like banking account, so that it's not, then like, you know, we would just like link that bank account with with that.
And you can't do that with the city.
And like easier for them.
So they can actually take credit cards, like the treasurer's office can take credit cards, and I could ask them if we could do that, but they pass on all the transaction fees to the person donating.
Oh, okay. So not even to us.
Yeah, well, yeah. So like, you know, the credit card vendor charges a fee to the city. The city passes that on to the person that would donate.
Oh, yeah,
so I could ask what kind of a process that would be to like be able to use credit cards for this. At least then we, you know, maybe we can get going with that at least.
Right. And we was trying to use
do we want to increase fees to not only cover the specific event that is it's promoting, but also you know, for, you know, to be able to, like, you know, if we don't get enough in fees for, you know, one of the events, then we, you know, it'll make it even more difficult to like hold that event. So do we want to like, you know, not just like, okay, this fee will cover for 2022's Fitchburg Open Studios and that's it, or, you know, like give a little bit more of a grace for ourselves that like it can also cover for like future years, or to do like even more than we were initially thinking. Or do we want to like have separate fundraising events?
It seems like, I mean, I think we could do both, but there's probably a balance to strike with charging a fee for like open studios. You want to make it affordable for the artists to get in. But if you know that really the whole cost of the marketing is about $15 for each artist, and maybe make it 20 to cover ourselves. I could see something like that working pretty well. I have no idea what you guys charge for a fee for the open studios.
I forget, but I think it's something like $35 or something like that. Yeah, it's not a crazy amount. I know that fundraising has been a interest of Eileen's in the past, but she was unable to make it today because she has a cold. But you know, I can tap her to see if she had other prospects. Is there anything else that we want to be thinking about for this year? Oh, we'll have the public input meeting.
Yep.
Public input meeting for the related to the grants, or related to just in general?
Yeah, it sort of kicks off the grant cycle. We do a
Oh, so that's in the fall, right?
Or summer, I think actually.
Yeah, so it has to be before September 1st. We could have multiple public input meetings if we wanted to, but we're definitely obligated to have at least one public input meeting. And at that meeting, we talk to the public about what our local priorities should be. In the past, we have joined that with a grantee reception. I would suggest that either we take away the grantee reception completely, or just make it a separate event, because I felt really bad like contacting all the grantees that like some of them like, you know, weren't actual Fitchburg residents, and be like, hey, come to our grantee reception public input meeting where we're going to honor our guests. And then like, I didn't feel like that, yeah, they got to, I don't know, their programs weren't highlighted all that much. And then we kind of like went almost immediately, after some speeches, we went into feedback. And so I feel like that's just weird, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
And of course, it was tough this year given, COVID, which overhangs everything. And I know it was about 1,000,000 degrees that day for this meeting. And we had it outside at FAM, but it was like 100 degrees or something. It was quite a thing. But yeah, I know what you mean, Audrey, because I know we acknowledged them, but it wasn't the same as really letting them take a bow for the cool work they were doing. It was more like a disclaimer on a medicine ad, like this happened and this happened and this happened. Anyway, here's the public information.
Yeah, that makes sense to me to separate them.
Yeah.
I don't know what a grantee reception would be if it was a standalone event either. Right.
I mean, I'm hoping we'll get back to the era of an event where we're sort of, that sort of hobnobbing with food and beverages and people meeting each other, like the public input meetings from a few years ago at the Art Museum. It was a really nice event, and it was a really nice quotient of mingling and networking, and I really felt like that we did get a sense of, even if it was one-on-one, because you were just sort of walking around the room and talking to people and getting a sense of their wares. So hopefully we get back to that point in our lives, but so I think they can be done on the same footing, but I think it's tricky. It was tough this year. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it would be neat if maybe one day we had like instead of a grantee reception, it was like kind of like a grantee like festival in a way, like you know how like I've never been to like a showcase of some sort. Like I haven't been to FSU's, like I think it's called like Rock the Block, where they have like multiple booths, but I was thinking like, you know, what if there was like a booth for each grantee, in which members of the public can come and they can learn about their programs and learn about their organization. And just like have like, you know, like in the Upper Commons or Riverfront Park, like just like a ton of tables with these organizations, and people can learn about them, and food trucks and fun stuff. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Especially combining it with something fun and tactile like food and whatever. Yeah.
And maybe some of the grantees have things like that they can show and do. I mean, not that I want somebody to put on a performance, but like if, you know, there was artwork involved, can they show that? And, you know, if there was, I don't know, even like the little care kits, calming kits, like they could show the calming kits.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things.
Have like samples of their
like,
and yeah, I know that during the last public input meeting, one of the suggestions was that there should be like art festival, like how that would be really neat to have an art festival. So that could contribute to it.
I do think Joe Ferguson and the Reimagine folks might be thinking about doing something like art markets. I don't know if that would be a festival, but kind of. So I think there might even be an opportunity to partner on something like that.
What is it about exactly? The public input meeting. What is it? What is it exactly?
So the public input meeting is it's a requirement by the Mass Cultural Council for us to talk with the public and receive feedback from them on what our local priorities should be this year. So every council, for grant applications, grantees must meet the Mass Cultural Council requirements, but also each council creates their own requirements and priorities. So based off of that feedback from talking to the public, whether it's from, well, what we do is we do a combination of discussion plus surveys that we send out, hearing like people want more public art, or people want more shows, programs that are for the youth, or whatever. So we'll include that in our priorities, and we'll keep that in mind when we are voting on grant applications of whether or not they are eligible to receive money.
It's happening once a year or twice a year?
Usually, well, what we've been doing is once a year, but we could do multiple. Like we could do multiple, like in different like areas of Fitchburg, like, and like target like certain communities that like we feel are like under that aren't heard as often, and going to them to make sure that their voices are being heard. Since I've been on since I've been the co-chair. The previous one was before August, was a virtual one. So August was in at the Fitchburg Art Museum, but in 2020, of course, that was a virtual one. So that was kind of funky.
Actually very similar to what my department has to do for our community development block grant program every year. You know, we have the public meeting, we take in feedback about what needs are, and then try to align the priorities with what people tell us the needs are and what our own assessments of needs are. But our meetings are really boring. So hopefully the cultural councils are more exciting.
That is the thing though, like the Mass Cultural Council does encourage to have a secondary aspect to the input meetings because they can be really dry and would only attract those who, like, you know, specifically want to speak up, versus if you accompany it with something like the grantee reception or something else, then people might be more inclined to attend. But it's also like kind of weird to me.
Yeah. I wonder.
Although it's really nice having speeches and stuff.
Yeah, speeches are always good, as long as I'm not giving them. I wonder if we can keep in mind, as just time moves on, if there are events that have booth setups that it seems like might be a good fit for us to have a table to just ask for input then. Like we maybe do a few of those. Like, so if there's a, you know, a cultural event that, especially if we're talking about trying to reach those that are least likely to give their own, to volunteer their input and come to us, we go to them.
I like that idea. So like at the block party that happens on the 3rd every year, it would be good to have the Fitchburg Cultural Council there.
Yes.
With surveys.
I'd love for that to happen. And hopefully the block party will happen again.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also we've been doing creative meet and greets. Yeah. I don't know if anyone has any ideas of we should have one soon or whenever. I know that Eileen was suggesting doing them quarterly, but I'm not sure if she's thought more about that or not. And also, I don't know if right now is a good time to be planning events for any time within the next couple of months.
Yeah. I would play all that by ear for now and not plan something. I'm hoping, you know, that by May we'll be in a better place, but who knows? I don't even think it would be lasting this long.
All right, cool. Does anyone have any public relation things that they wanted to post and want to get feedback for approval?
I do not.
All right.
Can I mention the one announcement? I think both of you were here. Sam, you weren't here when I started talking about the fact that we have the call to artists happening now. For the city is going to engage with another arts and culture company that will help us put together a mural festival. And this is going to be happening through the city of Fitchburg, but with many partners. So right now there's a call to artists. We're looking for folks that are painters. 3 of them will be able to be like lead muralists, and then 9 or so helpers or junior muralists that'll go through this training on how to create a community engaged mural. And we'll be putting up like 3 murals in downtown. And it'll be happening over the spring, and then hopefully before Civic Days, the murals will be up. So share it with all your friends. It's been posted on the City of Fitchburg's Facebook page, so you can go there and grab it and share it with your friends.
All right, thank you. I will.
Where are the murals going to be?
Well, we haven't finalized that yet, but we're looking for as many publicly owned spaces as we can. And we, of course, want them to be at least a little bit clustered so that you get the impact, right? So we have some other murals around, so they don't necessarily all need to be right next to each other, but it would be good if they were next to other art. One I'm 99% sure of is if you go down Boulder Drive past Tacos and Tequilas and then go under that bridge, there's this giant concrete retaining wall where all the flags are. That will likely be a mural location.
I've been looking at that spot. I'm just being like, that would be a great place for a mural.
Yeah. The other one that I know would be an amazing place, but it's privately owned, and so we don't really, we can't commit to that, but it would be great if we could get that spot above the old Allstate insurance space, the corner of Pritchard and Main, you know, that big second floor white space.
Oh yeah, where
Poe had done some projections. That's the only downside is I like it for that purpose. So then we would not have that, but it's really premature to say that we're going to do that because we haven't connected with the owner on that one.
Yeah, keep in mind we are still recording, Liz.
Oh, it's all speculative.
I don't know you. That's awesome. Very excited about that. The deadline is?
The deadline is, I believe, I don't want to be wrong about that.
Yeah, February 7th.
7th, thank you.
Yes. Found it online. I drop it into the chat, but we don't have a chat. It is on the city's website.
Yes.
So,
and then the application is virtual. It's just a Google form. So you can click on that to apply, and then you'll just have to put, we can't ask people to propose murals, but we're asking for samples of artwork. So we have an understanding of skill level.
Okay, all right. So yeah, if you're an artist interested in painting a mural in the city, check out that information on the city's website, but also it was recently posted on the city's Facebook page. And make sure to send in your interests by February 7th.
Yes, and share with all your friends.
Yes, I'll add it to the Cultural Council's community calendar, even though it's not an FCC funded event or program. I think it's good to know. The only other FCC thing I have is that our next episode will air on FATV, probably Wednesday, February 9th or Wednesday, February 2nd, which I know is super definitive, but.
Is this the Wachusett Meadows
episode? Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can always find out information about programs and events that we have going on from the city's webpage by going to the Cultural Council. And we have our calendar embedded on there. Does anyone have any other announcements?
Not at the moment. No.
Are we good on all the agenda items? Did anyone want to say any last minute things?
I just got a question. For the type of project, the mural, do you guys choose a topic or the artist can paint his own subject?
The mural design will be a collaborative effort, so you won't go, an artist wouldn't go into it knowing what they want to paint, but there would be some training, and part of that training is about how to engage the community in input on what types of murals. So it wouldn't be like, here, I want you to draw X, Y, and Z, but it'd be like, well, let's talk about themes. You know, so there's it's a very involved with community input. So like I said, you wouldn't go into the application knowing what you want to paint.
So it's more
you
like
might have ideas.
It sounds like it's more like this. It sounds like it's more like the city is hiring muralists, right?
Well,
because like it's
yes, but it's more than that. What we're trying to build some capacity in community engaged murals, and you know, and just make it a community event. So obviously, we're not having the individual community members like go in and paint parts of the mural right on the wall, but there will be paint parties. It will be set up like paint by numbers, and then the artist will then like do a kind of a paint over to give it depth and clean up lines and do some of that, you know, to keep the quality. And the call to artists gives a much better explanation of the whole thing than I just did. So you should be able to get a better sense of it from the information that's posted in the link for the call to artists.
Yeah, I saw the press release and all the details of like, you know, doing projections and putting it on a certain material that will then go onto the wall.
Yes.
It's not painted directly on the wall. It all sounded really interesting. That's in the more information, I think.
It's really a neat idea, because you can take the polytab, it's called, and then you can break it down into small pieces, and then you put it back together.
Oh.
So but you know, it's important that the training part happen, so that folks know how to do all this. They're expert, you know, the folks that would be training are experts in this, and they've done it a lot. So we're really excited about it.
Does that mean that the people that applied, they do not necessarily have to be professional muralists? They could just be in general artists, like painters, like maybe they are not used to painting very large directly on walls because they're going to be using this special technique anyways?
Yeah, I would say some of the like junior painters can definitely be in that bucket, where you maybe have done painting before, but you're not an expert at murals, right? I think the folks that are the leads, the 3 leads, we will want some experience with previous murals.
Fair enough. All right, it is 5:34. I'm gonna call this meeting adjourned.